Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
Sunday, everyone. It's the end of another weekend, and we are back for Between the Ropes episode. Lots to cover, lots of stuff that went on this past week. We seem to say that all the time when we get to do this show, but this week there does happen to be a lot of news out there that we need to talk about. And of course, as usual, with me, of course, is Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? It's another Sunday and an episode of Between the Ropes. Fun to do these.
Yeah. This we don't get to do this enough. It's a lot of fun. Might have to revisit some scheduling. We'll say, but yeah, I think there's a lot. I mean, even as we're talking, things are breaking apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that in the breaking news section, but yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of good going on. Let's talk about the good too. Even though there are some things out there that are going on that are a little bit puzzling, a little bit strange, and my goodness, I didn't realize when I became a wrestling fan that companies would have to put a warning label on storylines saying that this is all like in kayfabe, and maybe it's just because people don't know what that is anymore. I don't know, but I know we'll get there too.
We can really name this episode "The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly," and it probably would fit. I've got a grievance that's going to get downright ugly. So it's. Man, yeah, you're right. It's just, I don't know, man. You know, I find myself using the SMH sticker a lot on Twitter and stuff. That it's like I read some of these things and I just can't believe what I read, and it's really crazy, man. Like I know, I get it, and social media is ridiculous most of the time, but you know, just some of the stuff that I see that pertains to wrestling, I just can't believe half of what I see. And I almost want to say, like, are you for real? Like, are you doing, like you said, we'll get into it because we're going to start there. But yeah, Oh man, what a crazy week in wrestling! And it just seems like it's another week and another bunch of crazy things happening. But as you said, listen, it's not all bad. There's some really great stuff going, great things going on in all the companies, really. And again, we say this a lot, but if you can't find some happiness and some positivity in the world of wrestling, now, man, I don't really know that maybe you should be watching it for finding happiness then at that point, because I don't know. I think there's something out there for everyone. And if you just look hard enough, sometimes you'll find it, whether or not it's looking past like the major two companies and looking to a place like Impact or like, some of the other independent wrestling companies that are out there. There's just a lot of good stuff happening, and it is a good time to be a wrestling fan, Jeff.
It really is. And, like to follow up on what you said, and by the way, Chris
is here.
He's got a rag on you right from the start.
Of course. I wouldn't listen, Chris. I kind of expected you back when the Rascals reformed, man. You kind of go hand in hand. But
that's what happened to the Treehouse.
Chris took it over.
Chris took it over.
Well, he might have saved their spot.
That's true. But no, I mean, honestly, if you can't find something that you enjoy, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
At this point, because there's something out there for everyone, no matter what you like. And it doesn't have to be AEW. It doesn't have to be WWE. It can be Impact. To be honest with you, it doesn't even have to be Impact. If you're more of an indie fan and you like going to the indie show, that's cool. Yep. Whatever you enjoy. But there's something out there for everyone. So, again, if you're out there on social media and you always got something negative to say, I'm just going to take that as you're just a negative, miserable person and you find no enjoyment in life and you just want to be miserable for the sake of being miserable. And you should consider getting a hobby or doing something that actually brings you fulfillment and makes you happy. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything like that. I mean that sincerely. If you get so upset over a wrestling storyline, over a promo, over something that didn't happen, then it's time for some self-evaluation. And it's time to maybe move towards something that doesn't bring you as much stress and, get you that agitated as wrestling does.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, entertainment should be enjoyment, period. And if you're not enjoying a form of entertainment, well, there's so many other things, like Jeff said, that there's so many other things you could be doing that are out there, video games, movies. There's so many things for enjoyment that you can do. But there is that crew or that group that just enjoy coming on and expressing the fact that they're just mad at the world. And like Jeff said, if that's the case, boy, oh boy, well, number one, I feel bad for you. And number two, maybe it's time to really look into things, go find someone to talk to or something like that. And just see if you can get a little happier and a little happiness in your life. My goodness. There's so many bad things out there. I mean, every time you turn on the news, my goodness, half of a part of Hawaii burned to the ground. So many horrible things that are going on. Entertainment really shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that. It should really entertain you. It should make you happy. I was home during the day yesterday, and I watched a couple of movies. I watched John Wick 4, and I watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I enjoyed them. I liked them both. I enjoyed them both for much different reasons. But it was good. It took my mind off of things. I get involved in a movie. I get involved in that, and everything else kind of goes away. And that's really what wrestling should be. It's really what it should be. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, let me get into a few details, and then we will get into the show. So, first off, after tonight, we have Sunday already. Abby's tomorrow or no?
I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not sure. I know Jody's been giving some updates, and
right,
she's recovering. So, like we said last week, it may happen tomorrow, but it may not. And if it doesn't, that's all good because she's recovering, and we want to make sure she's doing okay and not in pain during the show. So we'll keep folks post it, we'll let you know. Just stay tuned to the social media channels, and we'll get some information out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a major surgery to recover from, so it's it's not easy, and so we'll keep you posted. So that's TBA. We'll let you know about that tomorrow. So watch, like Jeff said, watch our channels, and we'll let you know. Then otherwise, we have Thursday night, of course, is Impact Wrestling. We are headed toward a pay-per-view soon. That's this week, isn't it?
Next Sunday. Yep.
This
next,
right here next week,
Sunday,
we will be doing Multiverse 2. Which looks amazing. The card looks fantastic. Very excited for that. And of course, none of it is they don't have storylines or anything for this to fit it. It's just a one-off pay-per-view and mixture of a bunch of athletes from New Japan and in other places. And we've seen some of the matches advertised. It looks tremendous. So
this card is crazy already. And I know we'll get more. I feel like we'll get more on Thursday.
Yeah,
but yeah, the card's already crazy. So
yeah, I'll get that out to you at some point, probably on Tuesday, with all the matches we have. I'll have that out there for you guys to let you know what's going on. Again, you will have to watch that one with us on Fight TV if you're going to join us for the watch along. It's not that bad though. A lot of times Fight can be a little expensive for stuff. This one's only 24. Well, 25, I should say, $24.99, but it's not bad for the matches and stuff that you're getting. I know a lot of the people who watch a lot of wrestling will be there. So if you want to join us next week for Multiverse 2 for Impact, make sure that you get it on Fight TV to watch along. Obviously, you don't have to. You can just come and hang out in the chat. We're cool with that too. But if you want to watch it, make sure you get it on Fight TV. It's the only place you can. Now, maybe there will be some people on the socials that'll give away codes. If that's the case, go and check out different sites and stuff. You sometimes usually have to follow them or retweet, whatever. You might win a code. You never know. So, all right, that is what we've got lined up for this week. So Impact and then Multiverse next Sunday. So that's what our schedule looks like. As always, if anything happens, man, I wish. Boy, those little one-off videos, I love doing them, and I just wish I had time to with work and everything else. It's just hard. And so what it's come down to now is if anything really, really big happens, big return or something like that happens, I will do one ASAP. Probably after the shows are over. So sometimes it's big on Raw. I will do one after Raw. We'll be live, but I'll get a video out there for it. So, okay. So let me welcome some people in. We'll get going. Brandon Wayne Lewis is here. Hey, Brandon. We have Jason P. said, see you tomorrow for Abby's. We'll keep you posted on that, Jason. So just make sure you watch the socials. Dylan's here. James Grant is here. Melaned is here. Hello. Jeremy Dunderman, a member of our channel. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a member, Jeremy. We really, really, really appreciate it. Brandon Davies here. Craig Backlund is here. Hello to you. Anthony Slate, a member of our channel as well. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being a member of our channel. Much love and appreciation go out to our members. Christopher Douglas is here. Hello, Christopher. Bonus Baby is here. Hello to you. Waited 5 generations to get one, but finally on my first podcast on a Galaxy Fold 5. Yeah, the new Fold 5 came out. They finally look like they got that hinge right. So I hope that's true. They're cool. If you like tablet style phones, they're heavy though. But yeah, they're very cool. The gaming's cool on them too. I saw some people playing games and stuff on them. Very cool to play games. It's like a mini tablet. Chris, of course. Hello, Chris. Chris. Christopher is here too. Hello, Alicia. We've got let's see, Gary is here. Hello, Gary. We've got Chad Schrader. Hello, Chad. And Bonus Baby, I think I called you out. Chris and lots of Chris. The C Wrestling is here. Sending you both DMs about some news and totally still arriving late. Hello, C. Nice to see you. I was talking to C a little bit during the course of the week about a couple of different wrestling things and, of course, the social media stuff as well. Bonkers LFC is here. Brandon is here. Hello, Brandon. We have Derek. Hey, Derek. Please don't get mad if the show gets canceled. People have lives. What show are you talking about? Who's getting canceled?
Probably Abby's.
Abby's. Oh, okay. Yeah, it happens, man. We've got let's see. Did I miss anyone? Damian Robinson. Hey, Damian, how are you doing? Alexa Bliss Gamer 0809 is here. What's up? Dan S. Hello to you. Chris is feeling good about the Cowboys. I don't. I'm a Cowboys fan since I was 7 years old, and that's a long time. I don't.
Joe's not feeling the positivity around the Cowboys.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. See, Brooks 51 is here. Mark Sampson is here. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Yes, yeah. All right, cool.
Obviously, from my comment in the chat, I'm not real high on my Buccaneers this year. Here I am, in August before the season even starts. Like, man, I really hope we can get a top 5 pick next year. Yeah, because I've seen what I need to see in preseason, and we'll see what happens. But might be
two things always working against me and the Cowboys. One, Jerry Jones,
and
2, a little further down the list. And I'm not saying I don't respect him as a person. I think he's a good dude, but Dak Prescott, I'm sorry. I just don't think I think he's I'm not saying he's bad. I think he's okay. He's like Kirk Cousins level good, I think, but he's not. I don't know, man. To me, he just doesn't have that. When you have a quarterback who can win a Super Bowl, I think you just do. When you watch enough football, you can see guys like a Mahomes, a Josh Allen. Those kind of guys are special players, and you could just see that they're gonna take teams to a Super Bowl. Dak, I don't know. It just there's just something missing there, and I don't know. Jerry Jones will never see it, so it'll never change. They'll give him another extension next year, and he'll be a Cowboy for the rest of his career, just like Tony Romo was. And they will never win a Super Bowl.
And the thing is with the Cowboys, it's not about the weapons around him.
Right.
It's all about Dak at this point. And it seems to be some type of blockage between where he is and where people think he can be.
Right.
I'm one of those people who actually believe that he can get to that level. I'm starting to run out of what it is that, what he can do to get past that point. I mean, I think he's a really good quarterback. Obviously you got guys like Burrow and Mahomes and Allen. I would even say Jalen Hurts.
Dude, Trevor Lawrence, like there are a lot
ahead of him.
Yeah.
But and that's the other thing too, Joe, is that the joke for a while was the NFC least. I don't know what nickname people are going to give the NFC South. The NFC South for the second year in a row might just be the worst division in the league.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty rough. I think.
You're probably right. They'll have a team that might make it with a break even 500 record,
like the Bucks did last year.
Yeah, I agree. There's some teams there that are going to get a little better. Atlanta will start to get a little better. They had some good picks and stuff like that. But I agree. I never get too excited about. Listen, I'm still in baseball season. My Dodgers are on a roll. They're only a couple of games out from Atlanta, and this was supposed to be a year they were supposed to be down. So they still have a very good chance to go places in the playoffs. So I'm with that until the football season starts. But I'll never completely give up on them. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Jerry Jones he's the Vince McMahon of football, and he can really mess things up. So that's where I stand with football. So, all right. Well, this isn't a football podcast. This is a wrestling podcast. So let's get started. We're going to get into it. So, Jeff, I think we might have some breaking news.
We might have a little bit of breaking news. So let's just get into it. I don't have a graphic for it. So there's that, but,
I'm just going to read the text that Jeff just sent me. And I saw a little bit of it in work today. CM Punk and Mr. Page. Man, this is not, I kind of thought when this whole thing was going to occur and Punk was going to come back, and you know what, it's awfully hard. You can say people are going to be separated and things like that, and you could say that they're going to keep them away from one. But listen, you're going to cross paths. You're in the same company, and you know, if you hate a person that much and you have to work with them, that is never an easy thing. And I'm not going to place blame. I'm not going to say anybody's at fault here. And I'm not going to even say I know everything that's going on, because all I'm knowing is what Fightful said. And here in this post, in regards to Hangman Page and CM Punk, we were flat out told, this is from Fightful, the promo after Collision was not a work or a planned thing that Page was involved in. And that's from Fightful. So these two guys obviously don't like one another. And this stems from when Punk was in there before. And this was why that, you know, Punk was supposed to stay on Collision and Hangman was supposed to stay elsewhere because of this whole thing. And see, this is what I'm talking about. These kind of things. And this isn't look, this isn't the first time you're ever going to see, and the last time you're ever going to see two wrestlers not like one another. It probably happens every single day in every single locker room. There are probably people everywhere. Yeah, you know, there are probably people everywhere that don't like each other. You're never going to get along with everyone.
I'll explain the difference to you when.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd love for you to do that. I mean, you hear stories about, you know, the days in WCW with the guys in the back. Like you always hear the stories about Hogan and Nash and that they were in charge, and a lot of the other wrestlers couldn't stand them, because they were the ones that were making all the decisions. They were the ones telling everybody what to do. They weren't, you know, they didn't get along with a lot of the other people in the locker room. So you're going to have this. But, you know, for as big as Punk is for this company, you know, my goodness, basically has his own show. I mean, Collision is essentially his show, kind of, right? So, you know, to have this kind of stuff going on with two people, listen, all I know is I don't know how it'll end. All I know is that Punk isn't going anywhere. So to me, that kind of tells me that Hangman Page may not be long for the world in AEW. I don't know what his contract is like. I don't know how long he has. I like the guy. You know, I think he's a good wrestler, but I kind of think that if this kind of stuff keeps occurring, I don't think he's going to be long for the world of AEW, Jeff. And yeah, go ahead. Please elaborate. You would obviously know a lot more about locker room kind of stuff than I would.
So I'm gonna say this, and you know, Barry Monkey 99 brought this up on his comment. One of the first things that I was told, and let me preface this by saying, no, I have never and will never achieve the level of success that CM Punk has in the world of wrestling. I know that that the lights are brighter. You know, I get it. What he's accomplished, can't take that away. Here's what I'm going to say, though. One of the first things that I was told when I started training for wrestling is don't let ego mess up the money. Don't let ego mess up the show. I think right now we're in we're seeing how ego can mess things up. Now, what I will say is this: a very, very competent and capable booker and a locker room leader can make this situation money for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
They can turn it into huge ratings, because I can go ahead and tell you right now, if they get their stuff together and they can somehow figure out how to work this into a program, I don't know about many other people, but if I hear that CM Punk and Hangman Page are doing something on Collision, I'm going to be watching that, because I want to see how, if it's going to unravel right there in front of my eyes, because of how things have led up to this point. So I think it's all on Tony Khan at this point, and any of the locker room leaders who feel as though they can, and this is the other part of it, who feel as though they can go to CM Punk and say, hey, don't let this thing mess up the potential that we have down the line. Don't let this thing mess up the money. Don't let it mess up the ratings. Don't let this be the thing that turns people against us or creates factions within what we're trying to do. Let's come together and let's do this thing the right way. And I think I'm gonna go out on a limb, even though I don't have very much confidence in this, in saying that they'll somehow get it figured out. I think they will. I think they'll be able to use it to their advantage. That's giving a lot of credit to all of the parties involved. That's giving some people the benefit of the doubt that maybe others won't. But all I'll say is I think they can, because I think the potential to do something with this can be greater than the issues that have happened. Now, again, none of us are privy to conversations, things that have happened backstage, any of that. None of us are privy to that. It's speculation at this point. But two adults should be able to behave like two adults and work together professionally. Even if they don't have to see each other, that's great. You should be able to at least stay civil and be professional adults. I think if you're going to do something with this, though, then, at the end of it, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, everybody got work. I can go ahead and tell you right now, based on this report, this ain't this ain't that.
Yeah, this is not a work.
So don't try to sell me that story, because it ain't that. I don't believe it's that. I don't believe it's a work right now. It may get there, but I don't believe it's there now. But I'm gonna hope that cooler heads prevail, and at some point they can sit down, figure something out, and turn this into money, turn this into ratings. Because I'm telling you, if you do this the right way, it can be something huge for AEW.
No doubt. And it's funny. When I read the comment, I go back to, and of course it's a geek culture reference, but I go back to the original RoboCop when he sits there and goes, "Behave yourselves." That's it. That's the thing. There needs to be. Look, say what you want to about TK, right? Listen, he's running a company. He's got a lot of money. He makes, he has some great decisions and some not so great, and that's what everyone is like. But that's where I think you're seeing the big disconnect from AEW to WWE, and one wanting to be more like the other. Not necessarily alike in wrestling style. They may never be the same. They're just two different things. But one thing is lagging behind the other. I mean, the other's been around for years and years. AEW just started also. But Tony Khan really, I think, needs to have someone that can run the locker rooms. Where, you've got the ownership of WWE, you've got, of course, Vince up at the top, but he's got people running the locker rooms. He's got Triple H in charge of creative. He's got Shawn Michaels in charge of creative in NXT. Those guys are respected names. They are people that people look up to. And they're among others, right? It kind of goes down in the ladder. I think that's really what he has to do. He kind of has to get away from that whole thing of, if he wants to book the shows, okay, cool, that's fine. But he, I think, needs to have someone under him who can be the guy who can be in that locker room and control that locker room. I mean, there have been some people that have strolled through there that you kind of thought maybe would fill that bill. Regal being one of them, I think he would have been perfect for that role. But, it just doesn't seem like he has anybody like that, and I think that's what they have.
He's got those folks. He's got those folks there, though. He's got Mark.
He does. No, he does.
He's got Mark Henry. He's got Dustin Rhodes. He's got people like that. But it comes down to, and I'm going to upset some people here, and quite frankly, it is what it is at this point. But I feel like it needs to be said. If your goal is to run a wrestling promotion that is successful, that whether you say it or not, wants to rival the WWE. There are certain things that you have to do in terms of infrastructure,
right,
to at least make things follow a certain process. Say what you want about WWE, say they're too business, say they're whatever. And listen, they make a ton of mistakes. I'm not going to defend any of them. But the one thing that you can't say, I won't say ever, but you rarely ever hear of situations like this getting outside of the locker room. Why? Because you have locker room leaders. You have people like The Miz, like Drew McIntyre, like an AJ Styles, people like that, like Randy Orton when he returns,
a Charlotte Flair
who,
for the
Charlotte
women.
Flair.
Yep.
You have people like that who, who can lead the locker room, who can rally the troops, so to speak. So I think, but you brought up too, they have people that are up that pecking order a little bit that are also keeping tabs on things. So I think having someone like Mark Henry, like Paul White, like Madison Rain,
hell, even a guy like Jericho, Jeff, he's been around
Jericho.
forever.
I mean, you can say, I know a lot of people have stuff to say about Jericho. That's why I didn't bring him up. But,
I get it,
but yeah, but no, I mean, but I mean, even still, you have people backstage like Dean Malenko. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. And
Arn Anderson, right?
Arn Anderson. So you have the people there that can do this. It's got to stop being about ego. And I think a lot of times, in a lot of cases, with the things that have gone wrong with AEW and some of the decisions that have made people step back and be like, what are they doing? And what was that about? I think a lot of that comes down to ego.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of egos involved. I honestly think Tony Khan wants to make AEW as huge as WWE, and I get it. But that takes time. It also takes a certain structure. So I think it comes down to ego. And, again, I feel like you have to, at some point, not be worried about getting Booker of the Year from Dave Meltzer or anybody else, and not being the most popular guy on social media, not, having people fall over you because they think everything you do is right and can't be criticized or critiqued. I think at some point you have to get past that and you have to say, okay, what's the best thing for this promotion 5 years from now? Not 2 months from now, not 5 months from now, but 5 years from now. Where do I see this company being then? And I think if you take some of the ego out, then maybe that helps formulate some of those decisions going down the road. But just my 2 cents.
That certainly is probably a big part of it. You have to. It's one of the things, and I know, being a person who's worked in retail for all the years that I have, one of my issues that I always had in my career was delegation. I had a very hard time delegating things to people because I knew, and I took it upon myself to think that I do this better than everyone else anyway, and so I should be the one doing it. So that's hard to do, and it's hard to pass that down, and it's hard to find people that you trust to do it. But one of the hard lessons I learned was, if you don't do that, you will fail. It may not happen right away, but you will fail, because if you take that all upon yourself, you are ultimately going to get so bogged down when things go bad, which they will. Things are going to go bad, and you're going to get so bogged down with it that you can't get around it. You don't have anybody then at that point that you could say, you know what, I need your help. I need to admit that I can't do this myself and I need your help. And that's what I think needs to happen. It at some point, and look, it took me a while to figure that out. I've been doing this for 35 years, and I didn't get it figured out until probably in the first 10, 12 years of my career. I didn't, but you're going to, number one, either burn out. You're going to get completely burned out mentally, physically, and emotionally, or it's going to crash and burn. What you're trying to do isn't going to work anymore, because it's just going to fall apart from the inside. So, yeah, and I think that's what could happen. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and I think it needs to happen. If they want to advance, like Jeff said, if they want to move forward and they want to start going up the ladder and trying to compete with WWE, if that's really what they want, things have to change. Things have to change.
And honestly, you can say what you want to say. In terms of money doesn't fix everything, and throwing a bunch of money in different places that doesn't fix everything. And the resources aren't going to always be unlimited when it comes to. At some point, there are going to have to be some serious business decisions made, and again, say at some point, and I'm gonna say this because again, I get tired of getting this in the DMs. I don't hate AEW. I actually want to see AEW succeed. I'm not one of the people like, oh, well, they'll fail in a year or 2 years, or how about that ridiculously low rating, or I don't care about that. I want to see them succeed. But if they're going to succeed at the level that I think they envision, then you have to get real and look in the mirror and say, okay, what are the problems? And this goes to the fans, and this is a little bit about what we were talking about. The fans have to say, okay, not everything with AEW is sunshine and rainbows and roses. TK doesn't walk on water. He's not turning water into wine. He's not Jesus, okay? So let's stop pretending. Let's have a real conversation about it as a fan of the company, and voice those opinions. But if every time they do something you praise it and you don't want to be critical because you think somehow being critical of something that you love makes you a hater, then you have a misunderstanding. Oftentimes we are the most critical of the things that we love the most. You have to be okay with being critical because that's how things change. But notice I said critical and not a negative, miserable human being. I'm going to censor myself a little bit. Don't be a miserable human being. Be critical, offer constructive criticism, but don't be a jerk about it. And my other comment to this is, if you're a fan that doesn't watch AEW, you only watch WWE, that critique, that challenge that I just laid out, that's not for you. It's for people who watch the product. People who watch every single hour, every single minute of their content. They need to voice what they feel needs to be changed if they feel things need to be changed. Again, not trying to bash anyone over there. I want to see them be successful, but there are some things that have to be fixed. And it seems like situations like this, where you have a star at the level of CM Punk, there are some things going on, backstage. I don't know. It's just not.
Yeah, look, I mean, one, if you're going to critique something, you have to kind of know with what you're speaking about. You have to, you can't just come at it, never watching it and say it sucks. I mean, you could, but you look like a moron if you do that. So, and like Jeff, I don't get time to watch it. I openly admit that. I watch it when I can. I've seen some great stuff on there. I've seen the promos with MJF and Adam Cole. I've seen some great wrestling on that show. But again, do I watch it faithfully every single week? No. So I'm not going to sit here and speak about everything that is on there. I don't get a chance to. So I wouldn't be able, I'm not going to come here and do that. But like Jeff, I hope they succeed too. I don't want them to fail. It's better for both companies when there's competition. I don't want it to go back to it's only being WWE, because it gets very boring, right? The other thing is, look how many people were released when it was only WWE. We don't want to go back to that again. Where they, these people don't have jobs. So I want there to be places where wrestlers can go. I want there to be to places where wrestlers on the indies that would maybe normally not ever get seen can go, and it not just be one company. So I don't want that to happen. I want them to succeed as well. And I'm sure this European pay-per-view, look, this is a big thing for them. Big thing for them. Like big. They're going to break a sellout record in that arena. That's huge. But now, man, you better bring it. You better bring it at that pay-per-view. That better be like and I'm not just saying, I'm not just saying bring it like surprises. I'm not just saying throw out 3 more new people out there, because that seems to be the thing. Whenever we want to impress people, we're going to bring in new people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying with what you have, because you have a damn good amount of talent on that show. A damn good amount of talent. And a lot of them don't see the light of day. Let's face it. You need to bring it with the talent that's there and give people some great, amazing wrestling. They need to bring it. And this is big, man. This is really, really big for them. It's sink or swim. You don't want to go in there, saying, hey, we sold this place out. We broke records. We did, but you have to bring a damn good show to back it up. So, and, but it is what it is. Just hope that they can get these little things fixed. Hope they can get this little in-house stuff settled. And the one thing you don't need ever again is what happened at that media scrum. That's not good for anybody. So, all right, man, let's move on. That was kind of heavy. Let's move on to something.
Oh, man. This is equally heavy, so we might as well. This is equally heavy. So
this is heavy for another reason. This blows my mind. Like boom, there should have been a mind blow. I like the what, because this blew my mind. Like I'm watching this, right? I didn't get to see it because I was so pissed. And you want to know why I was mad at football? Because it preempted my SmackDown on Friday night because they put the Steelers' stupid preseason game on. I had to wait until 11 o'clock to watch SmackDown, which sucked. I was tired. I wanted to go to bed, but I wanted to see it because, so I'm sitting there watching it. I'm kind of dozing a little bit, and then I see this happen, right? With the whole thing with Jey and Joe. Okay, I'm all in for this. I want to see what happened. What caused Jimmy to do what he did? And of course we heard, Jimmy did this because he didn't want Jey basically to turn into Roman Part 2. So that was a little unexpected. I thought it was going to be the old kind of, used up type of thing where he said, I just a different way. I didn't think they were going to go with it that way. I thought they were going to do it some other different thing. So that surprised me. And then we saw the whole thing. We saw, Jey came in, he super kicks Roman, he super kicks Solo, and then he gets out of there. And when he's leaving, he hops the barricade, he goes into the crowd, and he's like, all right, WWE, he's like, I'm out.
Deuces, ooses. That's like my favorite. I'm going to start using that now. That
was a good one. Yeah. And he just pieced out. He's like, I'm out of WWE. I'm out of the bloodline. I'm out. And that was it. The minute, and it was hilarious. I have to give credit to Conrad. I don't think he's in the chat. Conrad immediately sends me a, and I shared it on our Twitter. I don't think I have it anymore. But Conrad sends me one of those graphics. Jey Uso is all elite, bang, just like that. I of course had to share it because you know that you were going to see that, and of course right away, like just like that. And I'm like, dear Lord, and then I'm thinking, okay, this is all fun, like everybody's going to make a little fun of it and stuff like that. But the last 3 or 4 days, I'm seeing stuff on our Twitter where people are literally believing he's gone. Like they're people. I mean, and this is not just people on Twitter. It's sports places. These are places that write about wrestling are saying what's next for Jey Uso. Now I know it's a headline grab, like a lot of it is, and it's but seriously, like my God, if you can't differentiate real life from a storyline, wow, you are really, man, I've got a bridge to sell you, and it's in New York, and it spans the Hudson. It's I mean,
oh my
good
god,
Lord, man, like it's a storyline, folks. And then people are saying, but he's not on the roster anymore. Who controls the roster? WWE does. Their social media team or whoever does. Of course he's not on the roster because it's going to add to the storyline. He's not there anymore. Who mostly goes and looks at rosters? Fans. So of course he's not on there. And then there was somebody saying, is he going to go to Impact and be with Trinity? I'm like, oh, what? Are you out of your mind? He is involved in one of the most. Now listen, I could understand this if he wasn't who he was. He's involved in the most impactful storyline that has been going on for the past 4 years. 4 years. You think in a second this dude is just going to say, hey, Vince, I'm out, man. I'm just gone. Are you crazy? I had to sit there and chuckle. But then I also kind of felt bad. Because if there are people out there who are believing this, and if some of you are listening to this show, man, oh man, I feel, in a way, I guess I feel bad for you. I don't know, like maybe you just have a hard time differentiating what's going on a TV show to reality, and that's not good either. But he's like, see, saying he should show up in Impact. Could you imagine? That would blow people's minds even more. See, you can't have, dude. People would be
just to mess with people. I would love it
for Impact's ratings alone. It would explode. If he showed up there, their ratings for that one night would explode. They'd probably have more. They'd have bigger ratings on a show than they've ever had, especially if they let it slip. Like if they let it slip online that he was going to be there, it would explode. It's. Oh God, I just can't believe it. Like I said, I understand there are a lot of children, younger children who watch wrestling. I get that. I know that there's, I was watching it when I was 7, 8 years old. When you're that age, you may very well believe everything that happens there, right? They don't know what's going on inside that ring. They think it's real. I mean, I did too. So that I can understand. Coming from sports writers and sports, places like that. Oh my gosh. He's just, I mean, are they just doing it for attention? Maybe. I don't know. But good Lord, he's not going anywhere. Let me just say this out loud. He's not leaving WWE. He's not. It's a storyline. He will be back at some point. It'll probably be Jimmy and Jey, maybe at Payback at Survivor. Say they're gonna lead up to that, but he's not leaving, and I don't really have anything else to say on it. It's just mind blowing. Yeah. Mind blowing, yeah. Jeff. Mind blowing.
Joe mentioned a bridge that he has to sell you. Hopefully you know nothing about geography, but if you don't, I have some oceanfront property in Iowa for sale. If you want to purchase that, really good deal too. Really good deal. All right. He's not going anywhere. It's a storyline, and for those of you, and this is not about being the old guy and get off my lawn and that kind of thing. But if you didn't grow up with wrestling before the age of social media, this concept might be difficult for you. Things like this happen a lot in wrestling well before this storyline. And, there were always stories about this person leaving, that person leaving, a match against this person where if they lost, they were out of town, those kinds of, these things happen.
Retirement matches.
Yeah. These things happen. and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, they showed back up. How did that? I thought they were gone. So again, if you look at Paul Heyman's comments a couple weeks ago when he mentioned, "Oh, we're just in the third inning," or whatever he said, this is a part of that. This is now again. I don't think they're in the third inning. I think to use that analogy, I'm thinking they're probably at the seventh inning stretch right now. I think that's probably where we are in the storyline.
Right.
Because and I put this in the chat, but this is like watching Goodfellas or one of those movies, seeing the family kind of run into some problems, and then you have your scene where you have your big blow up, and then one of the family members walks out of the room and I'm done, and then you get to near the end of the movie and then they're back and it's like, oh, okay, so this is where we are right now. In that story, they, to their credit, they have kept the twists and turns coming with this story. If they're able to get another 6 months or so out of this, kudos to them. And six successful months, I'll say, because if it starts taking a turn down a road where it's like, okay, that's just ridiculous, or could you spin this to fantasy book a little bit? Could you spin this where Jey, when he returns, comes back with a little bit of help? That's a possibility. That maybe that's why he had to leave WWE, because the help that he wants is not in WWE. He's got to bring him back. Again, he's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. Calm down. It's okay. He's not going to be all elite. Sorry to crush your dreams, folks that are out there fantasy booking different matches. And I'm not even going to dignify this person's post or whatever it's called on X. I'm still going to call it Twitter. I don't even want to give this more thought, but some of the matches and some of the things that they brought up were absolutely ridiculous. The other point that I'm going to make with this is that for those of you who have gone on to be like, oh yeah, he's going to be all elite and all of that, and maybe AEW needs their own tribal chief. Do you really want to go there? If he's going to come out, like, do you really want to go there? Because for the folks that give AEW grief about always having WWE's name in your mouth, think about some of the things that people will say if that happens. If it were to ever happen, I am going to go out on another limb and say that they wouldn't do anything with that type of storyline, because it would just look like, okay, we're just trying to feed off of what WWE created. So I don't think that would happen. Again, calm down. Jay's not really going anywhere. There's this term. I know that wrestling terms get thrown around a lot on the internet, and we have a lot of wrestling experts, like a lot of ratings experts, a lot of match experts, a lot of producing experts, honestly, a lot of just wrestling experts in general, because people have talked about how a certain person's move set just isn't good enough. They should have done this instead. That move looked a little bit sloppy. All I'm gonna say is, how about you post the footage of yourself doing the move so that person can learn from you? Oh, that's right, you never done it. So anyway, yeah, folks, calm down. It's all good. I promise you. This is a storyline. These things happen, and WWE moved him to the alumni section of the roster to feed into a lot of this. Because guess what? People are talking about today instead of talking about something else that's happening a week from now. People are talking about Jey Uso possibly leaving WWE instead of saying, man, we're only 1 week away from the biggest show in AEW's history. That's what the focus should be on.
You don't think for a second that they're not going to leave that open-ended before they go into their big pay-per-view? Because that's and what that's going to do, that's actually going to help them, because they know that Tony always got that has big surprises. You don't, there will be people who will be watching that show thinking he's going to show up there. And again, you have to look at so many people go online and they read the details. So many people, guys, wrestling fans are smart. They find out all this stuff ahead of time. You guys know way more about contracts and things like that of wrestlers than I do. What I do know is there's no compete clauses. If he did decide to quit or his contract was up, there is no way he can compete until a certain amount of time is gone. So there is no way he could be at that show, even if this were true. And it's not. So take a chill pill, step back. There was a rumor out there. I don't know if this is substantiated, but someone said that they were talking, or Rikishi was talking to someone in an interview, and he let something slip about him being a referee. So they may get him involved, and there were words that was going to happen eventually anyway at some point. But this is far from over. Like I said, I would not be one bit surprised, and I know people are up in arms about it now, but I would not be one bit surprised at this point if Roman Reigns takes out Hulk Hogan's record. That is not until after WrestleMania of next year. It's on a SmackDown, which is a perfect setting for it if he does it, because they could bring Hulk Hogan in and have Roman say, "I took you out." And what a great thing for them to do with how many people love not Hulk Hogan at this point, that he could do that. So, if you're expecting that he's just going to lose, you better maybe stop thinking about it that way. But I do agree with Jeff. The Heyman third inning thing, I mean, geez, Kurt Angle even called him out on that. There was a little back and forth between Kurt Angle and
I
Paul
saw
Heyman.
it.
And Kurt Angle's like, "Yeah, I think you're more in the eighth inning than the third inning." It's starting to get, Kurt kind of said it's starting to get a little silly now, but yeah, they're not in the third inning. I don't believe that for a second. It is going to come to an end, but it's going to end. The logical places are Solo winning, him being the one to betray him. He takes it off of him, or maybe it's Cody that takes it. I don't know. But listen, nevertheless, Jey Uso has gone nowhere. He isn't leaving WWE, so please don't believe it. It's just not happening. So Anyway, moving on. All right. Let's see. We have got up next. Let's get to
next. And new.
This.
That was a little bit of a shocker, right?
Man, that really, really shocked me. Like from watching SmackDown. Yeah, I did not see this coming. Especially Rey. Like, he hasn't really been front and center. I don't know. Some people are maybe saying that that Escobar might have an actual injury. I didn't read anything on that. But hey, listen, the people who can't stand Austin Theory have to be pretty pleased. As Rey Mysterio is now the United States champion. He does beat Austin Theory. Say what you will, but Austin Theory now has no belt. So a lot of people, I'm sure, are happy about that. But man, congrats to Rey Mysterio. He's held this before. And, and of course, there are the people on the other side that are complaining about it, saying, why would they take this from Austin Theory? He shouldn't have lost to Rey. Rey's not going to be around forever. He's not going to, so you have people bitching about that too. But look, Rey is one of the all-time greats. Anytime you have an all-time great who you never know how long he's going to be around, how long he's going to be able to continue to wrestle, and you put another title on him, it's just going to add to a remarkable career. Rey has the respect of so many people out there. He's been doing this for such a long time. Congrats to him for winning that title. And listen, I can't stand Austin Theory. I don't like him because of the character he plays. So when I saw him lose, I was pretty happy for that, that he did drop the title. Austin Theory is a young man. He knows how to play the heel. A lot of people hate him, and he's going to be around for a while. So there I'm sure bigger things ahead for him too. But this was a surprise, caught me off guard, and it was a cool little surprise to see, Jeff.
Yep. This was really, really cool. I've seen a lot of things on social media about this too. Go figure. With Austin Theory, what I want to say is this: how can you elevate someone if you keep them in the same spot? I'll just ask that question. Not gonna give commentary on it. Just take it for what it's worth. In terms of Ray winning, the way that I would book that, if I had the pencil, would be this. I've seen a lot of people in the chat say have Escobar turn. I wouldn't do that. I would have Ray face Escobar and say, okay, this was supposed to be your title shot. I'm going to face you for it. All respect. Have Ray pass the torch to him.
That's smart.
What happens at that point? Dom gets a little bit frustrated because Daddy didn't pass the torch to him. So what can you do down the road? There's a little pay-per-view called Survivor Series, and wouldn't you like to see the LWO go up against Judgment Day? I know that they're on different shows, but WWE doesn't care that they're on different shows sometimes, so why should I? So I'm gonna book the match the way I want to book it. It's fantasy booking. So that could lead to a little Survivor Series program with them. And the one thing that I do think is going to happen is I think that Dom will be the one to retire Ray at some point in the near future. I think it means something. It says something that Ray was put into the Hall of Fame this year. Maybe he's coming up to the end. I don't know, but I think Dom retiring him. If you're one of those people who absolutely despises Dom right now, wait until that happens.
Yeah,
you want to talk about like nuclear heel heat? He's got it. But think about how that level that it hits if he beats Ray. Let's say he beats him at WrestleMania and retires Ray at WrestleMania and takes his mask off at the end of WrestleMania. Think about that.
Look at the possibilities we have, and we're going to talk about this guy in a little bit too. Could you imagine at a WrestleMania? Could be for some championship, someplace, somewhere soon. Dom Mysterio against LA Knight.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You have one guy who gets more heat than anybody else in the company, and you've got another guy who is getting probably more love than anybody else in the company. If those two combine to go at it, wow, would you have, unbelievable match, and unbelievable promos and stuff leading up to that. Like him or not, and like Jeff said, it would be a way that a father would put over a son. It would be. It would absolutely be. And I'm sure that Ray would like nothing better than to... Guys, listen, 2 years ago on our very show, we were talking about Dom, and it looked as if Dom was going nowhere. A lot of you said it. It was not easy it was easy to think that, because, with his father doing all the things that they did together and everything like that, it just seemed he was going nowhere. And now look where he is. Fans cannot stand him. And like Jeff said, if his father puts him over, and that could very well happen, then that's going to just raise that heat level even higher. Can you imagine at some point someday, guys, think of a big thing. I mean, right now, and think of the most popular person probably on WWE roster face-wise. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. Probably Cody, right? Could you imagine if Dom Mysterio, and there have been seeds thrown out there for this, could you imagine Dom Mysterio beats Cody Rhodes and takes the title from Cody?
Oh, Joe. What are you trying to do to people, Joe? Are you trying to make? See, I can't even make this sound good anymore. Are you trying to make X evaporate?
Dude, that would be, yeah. Brandon saying riots. I can't even imagine what social media would be like the day after that happened. It would explode. It would explode. You would see people, I'm done. I'm never watching WWE again. This sucks. It sucks. And who knows? You know, it's going to be, of course, down the road because, I mean, Cody hasn't even won a championship yet. So I'm not talking in the next year. I'm not talking that, but it could happen someday.
Oh, gosh.
And if something like that happens, look out. Look out.
Man. But fans, if you think people had a problem with Cody losing to Roman at Mania, if that were to happen, like, honestly, well,
Jeff, yeah. Would it be like when Hogan turned? Would there be junk thrown in that ring?
Oh, for sure.
we might get a repeat of Bash at the Beach. You might have garbage thrown into that ring when he won.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would definitely get things thrown at Dom. I mean, obviously, things aren't like they were in the 90s, so they, places frown upon that, and there would be swift action, but you would definitely get some of it, for sure, because it would be that level of shock and betrayal almost, and not betrayal on the part of Dom, because everybody knows who and what Dom Mysterio is at this point. It would be WWE. How could you do this to us?
Yep.
How could you really do this to us?
Yep. Don't think for 1 second that WWE won't jump on that at some point too.
Hey. Especially if things hit a lull and it's not going great, they'll break the glass in case of emergency and pull something like that on you.
Yeah, because that listen, they've done it before. Yep. They'll ride the wave of things, whether it be heel or face. They will do it. So but oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, getting back to Rey, listen, it's a great legacy this man has. He will never ever have, he's already in the Hall of Fame. There's not really anything more this guy can do. And like Jeff said, if he is going to put over, whoever it's going to be that does end up taking that title off of him, it's going to be raised up that much. And just enjoy it, guys, because we don't know how long we're going to see him wrestle. We don't know how long he'll be around. So just enjoy it while it lasts. We have two guys. We have another guy in Edge who is probably on the last legs of his career. So guys we've grown up with, guys we've seen for a long time, and they may be on their way out. So enjoy it while you can. Dave in Real Life's here. I know Tazzy popped in. Hello to all of you that have come in lately. Jack is here. There are some others who joined us, so welcome in. On to our next topic here.
Yeah, Dave in Real Life.
Yeah, Dave is here. I mentioned Dave. Yeah, nice to see him.
So our folks that join us on Thursday nights, if they were with us last Thursday, they got a chance to see this. Crazy Steve really opening up in that promo that he gave on in that backstage segment on Thursday night.
If you're an Impact watcher, and I really hope you are, if you're a wrestling fan, I get it. Not a lot of people have a lot of time. There are other things to do and stuff like that. We all have careers. We have things that we do outside of work. But if you haven't given this show a chance, you're really missing out. And I'm not just saying it because we do watch alongs. I'm really serious. It's a really good show. Crazy Steve, what a wrestler. The man is legally blind. First off, I didn't know that until a little bit in when I was watching. He's pretty unbelievable in what he does, and he's the promo was amazing. I don't think I've heard a promo from this guy since I've been watching this show, and all of a sudden he comes out with this really heartfelt promo talking about how he's used to being the guy left behind. Decay obviously has broken up. Rosemary is no more. It's Jessica and Courtney Rush. And Taurus has seemed like he's gone on his own. So this was really an amazing promo. from an amazing guy. And he even talked about his blindness and how he has to fight with so much that he's legally blind, and things are so hard for him. I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't. But this was tremendous. And I don't know how this is going to play out or what it's going to be. Obviously, it seems like a character change to me. And Jeff mentioned that too on the show. But man, you got to respect this dude, and I'm really glad he seems like he's getting a spotlight because he really deserves it. He's been in, we talk about Wrestle House and the funny things that Impact does. He's been involved in a lot of that over the years, but he's also been involved in some great matches, man. When he tagged up with Tarus, he's been involved with some great stuff. So I'm glad to see this for him. It looks as if some sort of spotlight's going to fall on him, whatever he's going to do with this, or they wouldn't have devoted that much to it. Right. But man, I really, really got to respect this dude and what he does. But I can't wait to see where they go with this promo, Jeff.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because, again, we've seen Crazy Steve be one way in terms of his character for so long that, a lot of people who don't know his story were probably really taken aback by him opening up in this way. And I think I'm excited to see where they go with this, because one of the things that we saw a few months back is we saw him doing a lot more talking with Black Taurus, bringing him out to the ring and doing some different things. So we were kind of like, okay, I wonder what they're doing with that. Is he going to be more of a manager type of deal for Taurus? What's going to happen? And then, that kind of went to the wayside, and they planted the seeds though. And that's where we are now. So I'm excited to see what happens. I wonder if it's going to end up being him and Black Taurus for a little bit. That would be very interesting. But yeah, I thought this was really powerful, especially people who are newer to Impact.
Yeah.
Even people who have been watching Impact and just don't know his story. I think I think it was really well done.
Yeah, totally agree. And like I said, a guy that's really put in his time and has stayed with the company and been with the company a long time. And to see him getting this kind of time and getting this promo, I think it's awesome. All right. We've got, we'll just touch on this one really quick, Jeff. Impact's 1000th episode is coming up.
Yeah.
Which is in Jeff's neck of the woods. We got two big announcements for this. If you are a TNA fan, first off, the Beautiful People will be there. You all know that they've been a staple of TNA. And also, this is huge. A reunion of the Dudley Boys.
Yep.
Back in the ring. I don't know if they're going to wrestle. I don't know the status of Devon. I don't know any of that stuff. But to see them together, and even if they do, maybe Devon can just do a little bit of stuff, maybe can't go all out, but just to see them together, this episode's going to be awesome. If you, again, and I'll say this again, if you have not watched this show, right, you know the history. A lot of you guys know the history. So you know about the times when Sting was there, when AJ Styles was there, when Kurt Angle was there. You want to tune into this because you are going to see a lot of nostalgia, on this show. We will do the watch along for it. So you have to come out and see this show, because if you want to jump back on the bandwagon, you want to come out and watch a celebration of a great company, come out and join us for this show, because I think it's going to be amazing. You're going to see God knows who. Some people are saying Dixie Carter. We don't know who's going to be there.
Very well may. Yeah.
They have a lot of history. There may be a lot of people there that come back. The signed people for other companies, probably not. But you might still see, they might allow a video. You might see a video from an AJ Styles. You might see a video from some of the other people that are in other companies and signed in other companies right now. But this is going to be amazing, and an amazing celebration of an amazing company. And sometimes a look back at a company's past kind of vaults you toward the future. And I think maybe maybe, just maybe, they might get more eyes that aren't normally watching on this one, and it might get people to start watching the show, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're an old school TNA fan, this is one of those. This is like what we look at in the movie industry as a fan service episode or a fan service event. You'll be really happy, I think, with this one, because those are the surprises that we know about. I feel like there will be a few that we won't know about. That'll be true surprises. That'll be
Yes.
truly, you won't know until you get there, kind of deal. So
Right.
I'm excited about that. I think that, like Joe said, this is a good opportunity. If you kind of fell out of it with the last regime, this is a good time to get back in. Scott D'Amore and what he does, tremendous. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does there. Just the roster is so talented. The Knockouts division is tremendous. So yeah, I mean, they deserve the spotlight. I hope this brings it to them even more than it is now. So
yep, absolutely. All right, we're gonna go through. We have a couple topics. We spent a little more time on some of the others than we wanted to, but we'll just go through these really, really quickly. And then we have the last topic that'll lead into our airing of grievances, which we'll spend a little more time on. Jeff, we still got that wonderful MJF and Adam Cole stuff going on. It's up here. This, my gosh, I saw when MJF was firing balls at all the kids. And then of course, you had the one with Roderick Strong where, Adam Cole kind of felt a little bit bad, and Adam Cole kind of went after him, and MJF kind of looked a little pissed. There's a little bit of signs here, we're getting, but listen, what they're doing is great stuff. It's great stuff. This is classic. This is the must watch. On a wrestling show, there has to be must watch promos. This is must watch. You can't miss the show for this, because this is great stuff being done by two great wrestlers and two guys who are good on the mic. And I can't really get enough of this. I'm sad it's going to end, and it will. And it's not going to end well. But these two guys are just phenomenal. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that was the way it was going to be? James thinks it's going to be Cole going heel. Could be. But yeah, this has been really, really good stuff. And it's really fun to watch, Jeff.
This has been one of the better done stories in AEW's young history, I think. I think from, all the way back to planting the seeds when we got the first matchup and them teaming up. I mean, people were asking the question, why? Like, what sense does it make to team up MJF and Adam Cole? And then it just works, and they're just riffing off of each other and doing a great job. And now we get this, and I'm excited to see this matchup. I think it's going to be really good. I think this could be the start of something that we see between them quite often. I think that's the type of chemistry that they have. And I'm not saying they're exactly this way. So if you're old school, don't beat me up, because I'm from the old school too. To me, they have a Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat type of chemistry in my eyes. That's what I see. They're guys that can feud for years and people won't get tired of it, because there's always something fun they can do. So that's just my take. But yeah, this has been interesting. It's been a lot of fun, but we'll see what we get for the match.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just great stuff, and kudos to both of the men for doing what they're doing. It's like I said, it's must watch TV. Real quickly, we have RVD return. I'm loving the fact that they're using his old music from ECW. I'm absolutely loving that. But RVD, man, he looks great. Heard about this a little bit on Busted Open, and Tommy Dreamer, who, of course, best friends with this man, said that he can go. and he said he's always kept himself in shape. And he said he absolutely can wrestle, and some of the people from that era obviously can't anymore. But he said, obviously this is him representing that whole the FTW championship, the kind of crapping on that a little bit, and so he's kind of taken up the mantle, and he's going to be the one to represent ECW in that match. So great to see RVD, and again, we spoke about this a little bit during one of our shows. Don't know how well this is going to go over with being signed to the Hall of Famer contract for WWE. And especially the fact that he could have had an opportunity to be showcased in Philadelphia for WrestleMania next year. So I don't know how that's going to go over. But anyway, look, it's great to see him. And like I said, I love the fact that you get to hear his original music again, which is absolutely phenomenal to hear that old ECW stuff. I'm an ECW fan, love that show, and anytime I get to see them is fantastic. So great to see him back, Jeff.
Yeah, it's really good to see him back. I saw some interesting tweets and posts about this too, saying that RVD is the one to really kick down the forbidden door, the true forbidden door that people are talking about. All kinds of comments like that. But yeah, RVD, he is one of my favorites of all time. Really, really love RVD. He's a legend. And you think about what he did in ECW, and for him, I always thought that if he ever ended up in WWE, he'd do great things there. He did. So yeah, just awesome, and I'm glad to see him. And he looks good. I do know I had a couple people ask me where was Katie Forbes. I do not know.
Off twerking somewhere, I'm sure.
Maybe. But I don't know. So, if she shows up, she shows up. But I'm just happy to see him and, see him in a ring again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it'll be fun. That'll be one of the matches, of course, that people will be keeping their eye on too, going forward. So, Nia Jax training for an in-ring return. So is Nia going to make her way back? Like her or not, I know she's a very polarizing figure. A lot of people still rag on her about stupid stuff, in my opinion. But she looks like she's prepping for a return. We did see her for a little bit backstage. I can't remember what event it was. WWE, was it the Royal Rumble? Yeah, I think it was. She showed up backstage she showed up for the Rumble, did she not? Or am I thinking wrong?
I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah, I think she came. Yeah, she was in the Rumble. So it was good to see her there. A lot of people kind of just figured she would be back and she'd be wrestling again, but that wasn't the case. But listen, like her or not, what I don't want to see is I don't want to hear about the B word. First of all, I can't stand that anyway. I've told you guys that. I don't want to hear about it. I'm sorry, but people make mistakes. It happens every single day. We don't see it. But has there been people who have made mistakes? Yes. And I'm sure she knows that she has, and I'm not going to bang on any wrestler about that because I can't do anything anywhere close to what they can do. So I don't want to hear that word floating around. She's a good wrestler. She's been in around for a while. She's got experience. She's good with promos. If she does make it back to WWE or if she goes somewhere else, hell, I'd love to see her in Impact. If she doesn't come back to WWE, man, come to Impact. She would be awesome on the Knockouts or in the Knockouts roster for Impact Wrestling. So we'll see. But Nia coming back, that's a good thing for WWE. The only thing I'll say, I don't know where they'll have her go. I don't know what capacity they'll use her in. I would bring her back as the monster figure she played. I'd bring her back as that, just that unstoppable, whoever they're going to put her in there with, almost like an Omos type for the women, and have her do something like that. But listen, I respect Nia Jax, and if she does come back, I think it'll be good for WWE.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this, but quite frankly, This is my fantasy booking. So,
Okay.
what if she joined the Bloodline?
I would be down for that.
Now, I will say that Dave in real life had a good comment there about having her be the one to join Chelsea Green, since Chelsea needs a new
That's
partner.
true. That's a good point.
I like that.
That's a good call out.
Well, what if she joined the Bloodline? That could get very, very interesting, right?
Yeah, it could.
So I'd like to see her back. I know a lot of people have had things to say. Joe, you said it well. Very polarizing. The people who throw around that word. The only thing I say is we all make mistakes. We all mess up. Um, if you're an athlete at any level, there are times where you mess up. If you're a person who's in front of a camera or behind the camera or on a microphone, you're gonna mess up.
Yep.
And you hope that people don't continue to throw that in your face because we're all human.
Yep.
Again, it's not like people follow. If people followed me around every day, and I kind of have someone that does this, but I won't talk about work right now. If you have someone following you around at work every day, pointing out your every mistake and every flaw, at at a certain level, at a certain time, it's like, okay, all right, enough is enough. Um, and these people are people too. So, um, just remember that. Remember that when you're bashing people online and saying, "Oh, this person sucks as a no, because what they're nice enough not to do is respond to your rude comment and say, "Hey, when's the last time you wrestled on Raw or
Yep.
SmackDown or heck, even main event? When was your last match on main event? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you weren't on there. Um, so yeah, just be mindful of those kinds of things. We all make mistakes. It's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not a we're not robots, so it's fine.
Yes. See you, Dave. Nice to see you. Jeff, what if she joins the Bloodline and Bianca joins Bobby Lashley's group?
Yep.
Ooh.
That's Tazzy.
Ooh, that's a Survivor Series possibility there.
Exactly. That me and Tazzy are on the same wave.
Ooh, okay. All right. All right. I dig that. I
Yep.
like it. There you are. Okay. All right. Well, we're at the point of that. Listen.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put the graphic on the screen, and you go to work.
All right. So we finally got some legit news about Bray Wyatt's status. Shout out to Fightful. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp. In case you guys didn't know this, they are the only people I will listen to for news on wrestling. They get things right. They don't embellish stuff for clicks. They are good at what they do. And that's all I'm going to say about that. They broke the story. I am subscribed to their Patreon for both myself and our show. I would suggest you go do that if you like news. But they broke the story about Bray. And, of course, Bray Wyatt was said to have been ill. And ill to the point of where he was extremely ill to the point of where he could have died. Let that sink in for a little bit. And he of course has been out since. And then the good news was that it seems like he is recovering to the point of where he might be cleared soon. Now, there is no definite. There were mentions that they talked about for September as a possibility and maybe some creative things that might be happening. But again, nothing is confirmed because he has not been cleared. Okay. So, again, please sit down and think about what I just said. that this man has a wife or a wife to be. He has children, and he could have died. That is some scary shit. Okay? And that is nothing to play around with. That is not wrestling. That is not even close to as important as anything in wrestling or entertainment. That is a man's life. So when I read this news, I was very taken aback by it. I was very nervous about it, and I'm glad that there is good news after all of this. And I'm going to get into more in my grievance. But I'm glad the news was released. I'm very happy that he is feeling better. And ultimately, that's what's the most important thing here. Not whether he gets into a ring again, because you know what? Whatever made him the way that he was, where he ended up in a hospital in that kind of condition, if he never wrestled again because of that, I'm perfectly fine with that. He has to think of his life and himself and his family, not stepping in a wrestling ring. So while it would be sad, yes, but I'm just happy that the dude is doing okay. And that's how it should be. So, and then, Sean Ross Sapp also talked about a little bit later when he put out another video, an audio clip, actually, about some other things that were mentioned. It did look as if that they were going to have a Wyatt faction. It was going to be Bray. It was going to be Alexa Bliss. It was going to be Eric Young. It was going to be Bo Dallas. Of course, if you don't know by now that that's Uncle Howdy, then I'm sorry to spoil. But that was what was supposed to happen. And if you go back and watch his promo, especially that last Funhouse, can I keep a secret? Or can you keep a secret? The Eric Young voiceover for the moderator for the game show that was in the Funhouse, that is probably where they were leading. And of course, now with Alexa, and then this is what Sean Ross Sapp mentioned, it just all fell apart. Not only because of Bray's health, which is the most important thing, but also Alexa Bliss announcing she was pregnant. Eric Young then deciding, hey, I'm not going to work for Vince McMahon, and walking out. That all fell apart. So not only did you have a horrible thing happen to Bray, but everything else that they were planning to go forward with fell apart. So whatever it is that he's going to, if he is able to make it back, whatever they do is going to be brand new. And so they're going to have to start from scratch. So, Jeff, I'm going to let you talk. C, still waiting for those ex-wrestling stars to say, oh, am I going to get to that? I'm going to get that comment from C right there, and you guys are seeing it up on our screen. I will get to that in our grievances. That is the grievance for the week and what that is centered around. I will definitely get there. But Jeff, go ahead, man. What did you think about the news? And when you read it and when you heard it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll say, I don't want to say obviously, so let me back up. For most people, the first thing that you're concerned with when you hear illness, you just hope that the person is okay.
Yep.
It's not like the reports were injury. The reports have been illness.
Yep.
So if you're, again, not to go into what your grievance is going to be, but
no, it's okay.
I feel like if you've ever been an athlete, it's one thing to hear that someone has an injury, because at a certain point you heal from injury and it becomes a mental hurdle that you have to get over before you return. When you hear illness, that changes the game. So I feel like a lot of the people, like C Wrestling said, out there that have been very critical of Bray Wyatt really need to do some self-reflection, because you didn't know what the guy was dealing with, and you just automatically just wanted to just crap all over him. Not because you really hate the guy, probably, but because you know that by the mention of his very name, you're going to get clicks and views.
Oh yeah.
So that's really your end game. So, kudos to you. You got a few more views than you normally get by bringing the guy's name up for clout. So good for you. But yeah, I'm happy that he's doing okay. When he returns, between him and WWE, how he returns between him and WWE, who he returns with, same thing. At this point, I just want him as a man to be okay because he has a family that needs him, depends on him, loves him.
Right.
That's the most important thing. Is he around for his family?
Yep.
Wrestling is fleeting. An injury can happen that injure a career.
Yep.
We've seen that recently. This business is not meant for a lifetime. It's not a business that you get into in your 20s and say, "Oh, I'm going to do it until I'm 70." I mean, unless you're Mike Jackson, but anyway.
Yeah.
But most people don't last in the business 30, 40, 50 years. So you got to make the most of it when you have the opportunity. And this is a guy that has captivated audiences, that is so charismatic, and I feel like he's truly a gifted special star, special talent. And for the people who are fans, I would just like to say this: patience is what we all need to have. I know that you want to see him on your screen. I do too. But you know what's more important? His future wife and his children seeing his face on a day-to-day basis and being healthy. That's more important than me seeing him on my screen in the storyline. As much as I want to see it, as awesome as that is, as big of a fan of as I am, I'd rather him be okay and healthy, period. I know a lot of people had things to say, oh, it was probably mental health and all these other things. And listen, I have a very short grievance this week, and it's about mental health, just to go ahead and give you a heads up. If it was that, he's afforded the same amount of time as he is in this case. People heal, people progress on their own path in their own time. Not everyone deals with every situation the same way. So I'm glad that he's on the mend. I'm glad that he was able to make it past that point where they thought that he was going to lose his life. I'm glad that he seems to be doing better now. And yeah, that's what's most important.
No doubt. No doubt. Sorry, there were some stray fireworks outside of my house. If you heard a bunch of pops that sound like popcorn, that's what that was. You never know. These people love just celebrating all throughout the year. It's the middle of July, and we're still getting fireworks here. All right. Anyway, Jeff, I think it's that time. I think it's that time for everybody's favorite segment of the show. It's going to be a good one, and it is time for the airing of grievances.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about.
Oh boy. Of course, you will all know what mine is, and it alludes to the comment that C Wrestling made a little bit earlier in the chat, and things that I have been saying on our channel for months and months about Bray Wyatt. So there is a reason why I will only listen to primarily one person when it comes to stuff like this and news. Because a lot of the others are in this for one thing, and that is money. And look, everybody has to make a living. I get it. I go to work every single day. I do my 9 to 5 or whatever the shift might be, and I come home, and that's what makes me money. Everybody is entitled to make themselves money and raise their families and, provide for their families however they want to do it and pay their bills however they want to do it. However, when you look at some of this stuff that has gone around for the past 5 or 6 months since Bray Wyatt has been off television, it absolutely disgusts me. And like C had said, notice that you don't see any of them. And I'm not going to mention their names because I don't really even want to, because I don't want to give them any publicity because they already got enough. Riling up their fans or their so-called fans that listen to these people, getting them on their side about it and making them fall into a pack condemning the person that they are condemning. They honestly should be completely and utterly ashamed of themselves. However, I know that they won't be because they look at this as a career thing and they look at this as, well, I just need to make money. So they justify it that way. They say to themselves, this is my job and I don't have to look at it as, I'm just doing my job. Well, when you're talking about a person, now we had this man who I'm speaking of course, Bray Wyatt, had some very, very, very big tragedies in his life. He lost a best friend. He lost a couple best friends. A best friend he grew up with in college. He lost a best friend who was his, the best friend in wrestling in Brody Lee. He lost a lot of people. The thing is, we could have lost him. His family and children, young children, could have lost him. Is that anything to be putting this garbage, for lack of a better term, and I could say worse, put out this garbage on a daily basis about him not knowing a thing at all, some of them saying horrible, horrible things, that the man should quit, that, no one should want him in their company, that it's just vile garbage that they just put out there for the sake of getting attention. These people haven't been in a limelight or a spotlight in years in the wrestling ring. So they have to put out things to get other people fired up and to get other people on their side, because they know in their black hearts that they can play on the social media generation. They can play on the people that are on Twitter constantly hating on everything. They know that they can make money by firing those poor people up. And I do say poor people because I feel for those people genuinely. That, again, we go back to the start of our show tonight, that they can do nothing but hate on things every single day with every single post. These vultures prey on them like an animal preys on their prey. They are horrible people. They should know better. They've been in the business. Many of them have. They should know better. They are the ones that are polluting these people's minds. And yes, you have people who are listening to them that are incapable of making their own decisions. They are people that are maybe a little weak-minded that are listening to them, and they are playing off of them. They are getting their likes. They are getting their money. They're getting their clicks. You do that kind of stuff without any knowledge of what happened to this person. Now, it was made pretty clear to everyone that Bray Wyatt was sick. Everyone knew this. It was made pretty clear, okay? We didn't know it right off the bat, but it was made pretty clear that he had a health issue. No one, yes, there wasn't an answer as to what it was, but it was made pretty clear that he had a health issue. I'm sorry, but that to me, it sounds a warning bell out as a content creator that you don't go anywhere near that. You're going to say that the person is lying? You're going to say, well, no, that's not true. He quit, or he took his bags and went home, or he just can't hack it, or he's just not. You're going to make all that shit up. When you know damn full well that he had something medically wrong with him, you are pawn scum. You are nothing better than listen. I grew up watching a lot of these daytime talk shows, right? The ones who would, like Morton Downey Jr. He would get people on that show and he'd get them all fired up to fight one another and stuff like that. And that got ratings. These guys are doing the same damn thing. They're just doing it in a different way. But they should 100%, they won't, but they should 100% come out on their channels and say, I should never have said what I said. And I apologize to not only the man, but to his family as well, because that was horrible of me to say. They won't. I guarantee you they won't, because that would make them look weak and look small in their mind to their audience. Whoever that is, they won't do that, but they should. You make mistakes in life, you should apologize for it. That's how it goes. And he is owed apologies from a lot of people. Each and every one of them that made money off of his name, by the way. And if there was some way that Bray Wyatt could sue them for slander, for any of that kind of stuff, man, I would do it. I would absolutely 100% do it. I don't think you can, because there's probably the whole thing with social media and you could say whatever the hell it is you want to say and can't get in trouble for it. So they're hiding behind that too. But that was what came to mind when I saw this. Man, do a lot of people have egg on their faces. A lot of people are going to look completely small for what they said and what they did. And I'll tell you something. If I were one of their audiences, I would think twice about ever listening to their shows, ever commenting on their show, ever actually believing a damn thing that they say going forward. That's all.
The island of relevancy is not only existing around Roman Reigns. That's all I'll have to say about that. Some people just really want to stay relevant, so they are. Well, you know what? I downloaded this sound, Joe, just for this scenario. So here we go.
You stupid dick!
That's a good one. I was in journalism in college when I was 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. The first thing I was taught in my first journalism class, where I walked into a room and we were still using typewriters. By the way, there were still things called newspapers. The first thing I was told is you always have integrity. You always have integrity. You write with integrity. You report with integrity. You don't lie. You don't embellish. You have integrity. You want to consider yourself a journalist? You better damn well have integrity. And if you don't, then you're a clown that's pretending to be a journalist.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I'm done.
I'm just going to piggyback off of that just a little bit, because we've gotten quite a few things over the last few weeks, and I'm not going to get into specifics because, again, some fans are just not ready for the truth. So all I'm going to say is this. There have been a lot of people, because of comments made on social media and otherwise, that have struggled with their mental health. And that soundbite that I played can apply to people who are rude and nasty to people dealing with mental health struggles and dealing with depression, anxiety, and other forms of mental illness. So be mindful. And I feel like we say this a lot here.
We do, yeah.
But be mindful of what you're saying to people, because the one thing that you don't know is what that person is going through on the other side of that screen. You don't know the type of day they had. You don't know what they're dealing with their families or their health or any of that. So you never know how a comment that you make is going to land at someone's feet. So be mindful of when you think you're being cool and you really want to get somebody. Think about being a human being first and that person's humanity before you hit send on that. I did this last week, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell people now, like, I do therapy. Not even gonna lie, it's great. I think everybody should get into therapy. It's not like you got to go every week, but I think everyone once or twice a year should go to therapy. I think it's great for everyone. But my therapist said, sometimes those feelings that you have, it's okay to type them out. But type them out and then delete the parts that are inflammatory or hurtful. Why? Because now you're putting the power back into your hands, because you control what's being sent. You control what other people are going to see in that scenario. So don't be what the soundbite says. Don't be that. Give people grace. People are hurting out here. Everybody's going through something. Everyone is. So be mindful of that. When you think you're really getting somebody and you really want to get that little nudge in there, that little gut punch, think about that before you tweet or post something that might just be detrimental to someone. There's a fine line between people being entirely too sensitive and there being a legitimate argument for just going a little above beyond what you need to. And I get that. I think sometimes with some of the comments that I see where people bring up, oh, that was too far, it's like, no, it's just a difference of opinion. But if you're attacking someone personally, if you're attacking someone's financial status, if you're attacking them because of their race, if you're attacking them because they perceive something differently than you, that's a you problem. And you really need to look in the mirror. So I'm done.
I'm going to hold this up quick, and we really need to get that made.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
That's Alicia's, and boy, that fits. Insiders say, think before you click, but also remember, don't be a dick. Yes, it's that simple, really. See Wrestling with some comments here. Applause to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful. They've reported Bray was sick since day one. They've reported WWE wanted him back. Sean has debunked loads of crap and have been super transparent with how and when he learned stuff. Top tier journey. Yes, like I said, I respect that man. I've listened to his shows online. He does a great job. That is one person I will tell you, if you want to listen to something or give something a shot with that kind of thing, go and do it, because he's very good at what it does. And then he also said, typewriters were invented when I was 20. Yeah, it was a little hard to bang on rocks back then. So yes, we did have typewriters. Yeah. So Alicia just reminded us of the shirt. Yes. Thank you. I want to say something here about this because I told him, but Mark, this is but for a time I contemplated not coming here because my coach on the team I played for and now I work with very suddenly passed away. I didn't want to come on because I didn't want to get any blowback from people when I was struggling. I would hope that we've created an atmosphere with you guys that anyone can feel like they can come in here and say anything. I would hope that that's the case. Nothing would make me happier. I don't ever want anyone to feel that they aren't welcome. That's the kind of place that we're trying to create. It's a little easier to do that with the audience that we do get because we're not constantly bombarded by thousands and thousands of people in the chat. And to be honest, I kind of like that. It's a little more special when we get to read everyone's comments and things like that when we can, because it makes it a little more personal. So I hope that we do a good job of that, and we indeed try to do that. So I hope that that's never the case, that nobody ever feels like they don't have a place to go, especially when it comes to us and the people that are in our immediate family. Tazzy and of course C Wrestling, other the other people that are around us in our circle. I hope that's true of everybody because there's enough out there. You guys know how. And listen, if you ever are not sure about someone, you can DM us and we'll give you an opinion. About if there's somebody that you want to go listen to and you're really not sure, maybe you've never heard of them or something like that, we'll let you know an honest opinion about the person. Just let us know. I'm sure we could do that for you. All right, so there you go. That's the airing of Grievances section, and we are headed to our next section for the night. That is going to be Sell or No Sell. So this is a fun little game we do on this show. It's called Sell or No Sell. You guys, please play along in the chat. We're going to come up with a topic, and Jeff and I are either going to sell or no sell the topic. You guys, again, play along with us as well. And here we go. Sell or no sell, topic number 1. Jeff, what do we got?
Whoever this person is that puts together these graphics is really a jerk for starting out with this one.
Who can that be?
LA Knight is more over than Cody Rhodes. Sell or no sell. Man, that dude Jeff is a jerk. Man.
You're gonna make people's heads explode. Wow, what a topic to start out with. Gee whiz.
Let me put it back up there just in case your head hadn't quite exploded.
My head is about to explode. Yes. Yeah. Chris said Jeff is the best. LOL. I'm glad I have found this community. So Jeremy, well, thank you. We appreciate it, Jeremy. Oh gosh, this is so hard.
This is a tough one, man.
How do you even judge this? Could we even sell or no sell this? Oh my God, they're like the 2 biggest over guys that they have right now. Tazzy's like, nope, not answering that one. Gosh, man, I have to pick one. I'm going to say no sell with a caveat. No sell because I need more information.
Need more information. So
yes, in other words, talk to me in about maybe 3 or 4 months, and I will let you know maybe a better answer for this. Both men outrageously over with the crowd. Both are. I don't know how WWE wrangles out of this. LA Knight's been bumping back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. Cody is in line for a title. Now Cody's going to have, obviously Seth's going to have a feud with Shinsuke. LA Knight's going to feud with The Miz, which by the way is phenomenal. The war of wars between those two, perfect. That's a perfect feud for him. If they clash somewhere down the road, what I would like to see, and I know it may not be a good answer for a lot of people, but what I would like to see, and I have to credit this to Mark Henry. Mark Henry brought this up on Busted Open on the Masters class today because they're talking all about LA Knight. And what he said was, and this is very old school, you have him come out and help Seth Rollins at some point. Let's say Seth's getting beat up or something along those lines. You have him come out, like by the Judgment Day, let's say. LA Knight comes and does a run out, and he helps Seth, right? Okay, crowd goes bonkers. But then you have LA Knight turn on Seth Rollins. That would be money. Because it would almost be like an old school thing where The Rock, when he turned heel or something along those lines, you then have him turn on Seth Rollins and have him go back. Listen, we know that dude is a good heel. He's been a heel in a lot of places he's been. The crowd won't know where to go with it. He's over no matter what. But I think that's a really cool idea from Mark Henry. Jeff was talking about him as being one of those guys that people should listen to. That is really, really smart. So I don't know if that's how it'll work out. But I'm going to say just give it a little time. They are both outrageously over. But I've just got to see a little more. I got to see where they're going to go with both men and see what's going to happen. Because I don't know. I'm a little confused as to what's going to happen with Cody. Is Cody going to go after Seth? It kind of seems that way. And everybody was thinking he's going to go after Roman. I don't know, unless they're going to have him win Money in the Bank, which could very well not Money in the Bank, but win Royal Rumble, which could very well happen. But I have to kind of see where they're going to go before I answer that question. But it's such a hard question, though. Such a hard question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough question. And honestly, like even thinking about this question since Thursday, going back and listening to some of the crowd pops, they both get equally loud and thunderous crowd pops. So I would say for right now, and I agree a lot with what C Wrestling said in his comment. I want to bring it up again. C Wrestling is saying no sell only because when WWE pulled the trigger with LA Knight, a section of the fans will turn on him. Cody has the longevity factor. I don't know yet if LA Knight has that. I think I agree with that. I think that with Cody, as weird as this is to say, at this moment, for a lot of WWE fans, Cody is more of a known. And LA Knight is more of even though he's not new to many people, he may be new to a lot of WWE fans. So it might be this cool thing that's catching on right now for some people, which I absolutely love. I've loved this dude since the Eli Drake days. I think with Cody, the story's there with Cody. Cody almost has a built-in advantage,
right?
Because of his backstory, honestly, and the comeback and everything that we've seen from Cody. So I think I'm gonna agree and no sell. But I do think that LA Knight right now is so red hot that if they tomorrow put him in a program with Seth and and he ended up winning the title, would be completely thrilled. I think right now him going up against The Miz is one of the best things that they can do.
No doubt.
Because you're going to get to see this guy talk and work, spar, have a word sparring match with The Miz, who is an excellent talker. So, I'm I'm excited to see what they do next with LA Knight, but I think long term, I think Cody might have the staying power long term.
Bully mentioned on that Masters class too about how when you look at LA Knight, and this goes back to C's point, he said, what does LA Knight have? He has the LA Knight, and he has, let me talk to you. He said, and that's really about it. He said he doesn't, there's really not much above that. And that's going to take him. And then Mark Henry commented and said he needs a bridge. He needs something to bridge that to whatever he's going to do next. And what Jeff mentioned there is absolutely right. That is what he's going to have to, yes, he can talk. He is a great talker. He's going to be good on the mic. And a lot of people were of course, bringing it up that he fumbled a word in his promo. Like good God, you never fumbled a word in your life.
I fumbled like 6 during this podcast.
I am right. Yeah,
we don't have nearly the viewers that Raw gets.
Yeah, God forbid someone ever fumbles a word, right? But yeah, it's I agree. I think he's got some work to do. He's got a good backstory. We heard a little bit if you listen to some interviews with him and stuff. He talks about how he had to really work for getting where he is, and had to really build up because he was turned down by the WWE many times. He's got what could turn out to be a good heel story that he was passed over time and time again. So that could turn out to be a pretty good heel story. But I think he just needs. You're going to see. You need a little more progress from him and see where he's going to go. Okay, next topic.
All right, next topic. That was a good discussion.
Yeah, it really was.
All right, next one. It's too soon for MJF to lose the AEW heavyweight title. Sell or no sell?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy sell, especially for the fact that you can see the stuff that he's really improved on. You'll still see his detractors saying the dude doesn't wrestle enough. He wrestles like 4 times a year. He's this and he's that. But one thing about him is he's extremely charismatic, extremely good on the mic, and does extremely good promos. And now he's got this charisma thing going with Adam Cole. So I am going to, I'm going to sell this. I don't think he should drop the title yet. This is a long-term story with Adam Cole and where this is going to go. Will it be Cole that'll take it off of him? Maybe. But do we know how it's going to play out? No. But yes, I do believe it's too soon to take the title off of him, especially with all of this going on now. Now, had they not had this thing going with Adam Cole and had been doing this, maybe you would say, okay, well, what's next? He's beaten pretty much a lot of the people there was to beat. So who do you have to be the guy who's going to take the belt off of him? But as of right now, yeah, I will say he shouldn't drop the title right now, Jeff.
Yeah, he shouldn't rest. He shouldn't lose it right now. He should retain and it's too soon. And honestly, I think at some point MJF, I can't believe I'm saying this, may be the biggest baby face in AEW. if they go that direction. I don't know if they will. Yeah, but I would say it's too soon. There's too much left for him to do with the title. So I'm gonna say he doesn't need it, so I'm gonna sell it.
And the thing is, you don't know where they're going to go with this either, because there could be something in that contract that MJF put in there that Adam Cole doesn't know about, so he could snake him that way, and Adam Cole could very easily snake him. So you don't know which one's going to turn on the other, or maybe they both turn on each other. And there are things from both. I don't know. I wouldn't trust either one of them at this point. So you don't know where that's going to go. And the other reason why I don't think he'll lose it is because it's a great storyline. Like Jeff mentioned earlier in the show, they're not going to want to give that up right now and stop that, because where do they go? So it's a fantastic storyline. It's got eyes on it. People want to see it. So I really don't think that he's going to lose that title. So,
Joe, what about this? And I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but What if they both try to screw the other one over? And that's the thing that says, you know what? We are alike.
Yeah, it
makes them
even better friends.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Tazzy thinks he loses at Full Gear. Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. So that would be good if they both did it and they were like, and after they do it, you see them in the ring going, and they just point at each other like, yeah, we did. So
you got me. You got me.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. All right. Last topic in Sell or No Sell. What do we got?
Last topic, staying on the topic of AEW. All In will give the company momentum heading into the rest of the year, Joe. Sell or no sell?
Man, I think for their sake, I'd really hope so. This is another hard one, too, because, again, I want to kind of take a flyer on this. I want to see how it goes first to see how it's going to be. I mean, they're banking a lot on this. A lot is being banked on this. So I would say I'll sell it, but I'll sell it and say it better. it better give the momentum heading into the rest of the year. So by that, I'm saying they better have some tremendous. We know MJF and Cole will get eyes on it, of course, but they better get a fantastic card, and they better use this to spring forward and set up some amazing storylines that are coming out of this. So I'll sell it, but like I said, I'll sell it with a little bit of caution, because you better, when you we've all been told by our parents, you set yourself up for something big, you can set yourself up for a bigger fall. So they better, but I do think they will, and I think they can, but again, caution, because they better. But I'll sell it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sell it too, because I'm hopeful. The one thing that I'll say, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. I know it's not just me, because I've had these conversations with other people. For this to be touted as the biggest show in their history, or one of the biggest shows in their history, the lead up to this has not been as stellar as I had hoped. That's kind of putting it nicely, because I'm in a good mood, for the most part. So, but yeah, I'm gonna say that it will give them some momentum, and I'm kind of on the side of erase your mind here. I think it's all about what it does in the long term. Does it set up things in the long term? Do you build off of this? We'll see. I think short term wise, they're going to get a huge boost in ratings. I think you'll see more people talking about them in the coming weeks, and that's good. But does it still have a lasting effect 6 months from now? That remains to be seen. So,
C says no sell. I think with having All Out a week later, they will use All In as a setup show, making All Out feel a little more important, like a more important show, which kills any momentum All In can generate. Jesse Callan. Hey, Jesse, no sell, because they're not doing a convincing job at making it as big as they claim, especially with the card. I'm afraid they're going to drop the ball, but I hope I'm wrong. So there you go. Some people selling that when Derek says no sell. Mr. You-know-who from Chicago starts his antics again. Oh, if yeah, that's always a wild card, right? Always a wild card. All right, well, there you go, guys. That is our sell or no sell section. We are moving on, and we've got our what to watch for. So just a couple things we want to keep our eyes on for the upcoming week of wrestling. And then we're going to get – go ahead.
I was just going to say, why not keep it in the UK and talk about All In?
Yeah, well, like we were just mentioning, AEW All In London is, of course, this week. Saturday, right? Is it a Saturday? Or is it Sunday? It's coming Sunday. So All in London. That is at a special time, I believe. I want to say, didn't people say it was noon here?
I think so, yeah.
Is it noon Eastern time? So it's very early in the day. So I like the theater graphic. They actually do have their shows in theaters. So you can go watch this, I believe, in certain theaters and stuff like that. I know Cinemark was doing that. So some people like to do that, I've heard, because it's a little cheaper than purchasing at home. You can go and, kind of have that movie studio atmosphere, and some of those have really comfy seats. So even if they have a 5-hour pay-per-view, you can feel comfortable in the recliners. All In is it's not this week. It's the 27th.
Oh, 27th. See, I don't even know when.
Our bad. It's the 27th. Thank you. But yeah, so obviously we just talked about this and how big this is and how important this is for this company. It's a big show. They have boasted about this. They have boasted about selling, the most tickets in this arena and stuff like that. Well, you've boasted, you've talked about it. Awesome. I hope it's a fantastic show, and I really hope they back it up. So, but All In, Jeff, let's just hope it's a big one, and let's hope it lives up to the hype.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna go into this hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm hoping for the best. But yeah, that I hope they deliver. I really do. I really do. I got to see a lot this week leading up. So
agreed. And then, of course, we have Impact, which we will have on our channel. Impact Emergence, which is that's the same day. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's the same day. And I didn't put a graphic together for Multiverse, but I figured since we talked about it a little bit at the top, we didn't really need one, but we can talk about that too.
Multiverse, of course, will be our next pay-per-view. That is next
Sunday.
Week.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is the 20th. So come and join us for that again. Like I said earlier, you will have to get that on Fight TV. There are amazing matches. I will read you a few. There is Lio Rush and Trey Miguel going up against Hiromu Takahashi and Speedball Mike Bailey. You have Doki versus Sami Callihan in this. You have, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, David Finlay, Alex Coughlin, Kenta, Clark Connors going up against PCO, Josh Alexander, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, ELP, and the DKC for Bullet Club versus the World, that is being called, which is unbelievable. Zack Sabre Jr. and Shane Haste going up against Moose and Eddie Edwards. You have, I think I have one more, Frankie Kazarian, Kevin Knight, Chris Sabin, Bushi, Rich Swann, was that Mao? I think it is. They pronounce that. I want to say it wrong. MAO, is that it? Yeah, Mao and El Desperado. So these are, of course, not storyline matches. They're all kind of offshoots, but these all sound amazing. So make sure you come out. We couldn't do the first Multiverse because of the weird time of it. This one we will. So make sure you come out and join us for that. That is on Sunday. That is this coming Sunday. So next week at this time, we will be doing that. If you want to watch it with us, you got to get it on Fight TV. It's $25. Not bad at all for you. You heard some of those matches. I'm sure there'll be more talked about as the week goes by. But man, yeah, you come Tama Tonga and Tonga Lower. Well, I don't know.
They're in the world, because they're teaming up with Josh Alexander, and
they are. So it's Bullet Club versus the World. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So they are on the world side. Yeah.
I just need an excuse to play this. So here we go.
Bullet Club for life.
It's going to be awesome. Chris has a lot of great wrestling matches. Yeah, so come out and join us next Sunday. Obviously, we do this show on Sunday nights, and we will have a pay-per-view. So that'll be kind of fun, a pay-per-view on a Sunday. So come out and see that. Impact Emergence, a couple quick ones for that. That's coming up then the week after. And what we have for that is we have Trinity against Deonna Purrazzo for the Women's Championship, the Knockouts Championship on the line in a rematch between those two. We have Time Machine and Josh Alexander. So that's Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and of course Josh against Bully Ray, Moose, Brian Myers, and Leo Rush of that group forming on the show. Sonata will make an appearance at Emergence. We have MK Ultra, which is Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich going up against Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. So they are just some of the matches we have at Emergence. And I'm sure there will be more announced for that there is one more. No, that's been changed. I'm sorry. MK Ultra, Shawn Evans, The Coven, and Death Dolls. Mm-hmm. So that's now a 4-way for the championships. So that's very interesting too. So, all right.
I'm gonna play this for Tazzy because you are talking about my
giggity.
There you go.
Yes, that's fitting. That's fitting. Yeah, Jesse, we could do some of that. Sure. Why not? You're in the chat. Sure. We could do a few. So we're going to get to, what are we moving on to, Jeff? Favorite moments of the week?
Yeah, moments of the week, man.
Let's do it. Let's get there. Let's go to favorite moments, and then we'll move into jokes from Jesse. Okay.
Yeah,
Jeff.
if I can find my here we go.
There it is.
There it is.
There's the graphic. Top 3 moments of the week. You guys know how we work with this. Play along in the chat. What were your top 3 moments in wrestling of the week? I agreed. I agreed purposely because I wanted to see your reaction. That's pretty much why. The fact that you're even here and stuff like that makes it even funnier. So that's why I agreed. But yes, top 3 moments of the week. Let us know what yours are. Start with number 3 and we'll go from there. Jeff, your number 3 moments of the week.
Oh, man. Wrestling. This is difficult. It's difficult to pick just 3.
It is always. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is. Yeah, I agree.
It's difficult to pick just 3. But my number 3, I'm going to be an Impact homer, so is what it is. My number 3 is the announcement of some of these folks coming to Impact's 1000th episode. Really excited about that. Really happy to see Bully Ray and Devon, whatever they do, they can stand out there and talk for 20 minutes, and I'd be happy with it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and seeing what they do. But yeah, that's my number 3. Jeff.
They've got to, at the very least, Jeff, put someone through a table.
Somebody has to go through a table.
Someone's got to go through a table, no doubt. Somebody's gonna be fodder, and somebody's got to go through a table. So yes, without a doubt. My number 3 is the absolutely fantastic promo, which we talked about earlier, from Crazy Steve. I didn't know much about this guy. Obviously I know him from Decay. I did know his a little bit of his backstory and stuff like that, but I have never seen this guy do a promo like he cut on Impact this past Thursday. I thought it was tremendous. It really seemed like it was a from the heart kind of a thing, and I like that every now and then. It breaks the kayfabe a little bit. Allows you to get to know the person as a person and not just a wrestler. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this going forward. But I really, really love that promo from Crazy Steve. That was absolutely tremendous. So that's my number 3. Let's see what people got in the chat. LA Knight and Miz. Great call. Ilja and Trick Williams promo, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. Sting returns is Brandon's number 3. LA Knight and the Miz segment. John G. FTR Punk versus Hobbs, says Bonkers. Number 3, LA Knight segment with the Miz. 3D rules, says Michael King. PCO's return, says Barry Monkey. Good call. Crazy Steve is Bonus Babies, number 3. All right, let's roll on to number 2, Jeff. What do you got as your number 2?
All right, my number 2 this week. I'm gonna have to go with this guy that's not human. Returning and confronting Bully Ray.
I love the look on Bully Ray's face. It was straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah,
straight out of a horror movie.
With that look, I'm surprised that Depends or someone like that didn't go to him and try to give him some type of sponsorship, because he looked like he needed them in that moment. So yeah.
That's the look you see from someone when they see Jason Voorhees pop up again after they think they've killed him for the 15th time. That was fantastic from Bully Ray. I love that work. So yeah, great moment. PCO coming back the dude can't die. We all know that. He'll be back. And great moment. My number 2. I'm gonna go with the comment heard around the world and Jey Uso saying, "Peace out, I'm out." When I watched it, I'm sitting there, like I said earlier, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, that's really gonna stoke some fires. And little did I know, it absolutely
did it.
It absolutely did. I didn't think it would be quite that bad, because I figured everybody would know that, yes, that's just a storyline, but boy, did he light some fires with that. I kind of just liked the way it went. I liked it because I was kind of thinking it was going to go down a different way. I thought maybe that Jimmy was going to kind of go back with Roman. I'm really glad that he didn't, because that would have been silly, especially after that whole fight that they had and Jimmy fighting with Roman to then turn and go back to Roman would have been stupid. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go in that direction. So that it took me a little bit by surprise as to how it ended up. So I'm going to go with that as my number 2. Let's see. Number 2, Santino joining the Death Dolls in the huddle. That was hilarious. Yep, hilarious. John G says PCO's return. The rumor of Kairi Sane likely to return to WWE is really surprised about it, since we didn't do a Between the Ropes last weekend. Yeah. Kairi coming back. Yeah, it was. Ray winning the U.S. title. Great call, Brandon. The SummerSlam moments count. Yeah, sure. You can do anything, Jesse. It's your list. So yes, whatever you want to do. All right, man. We're up to number 1.
Number 1.
What is your number 1 moment of the week, Jeff?
I saw someone mention this a little bit earlier, but I have to say the IC title qualifier match, the number 1 contenders match from Monday Night Raw, was absolutely incredible. Chad Gable, I'm going to forget people, so help me fill out the rest. Chad Gable, Ricochet. I know who else am I missing, folks? But they were all just tremendous. I mean, each person getting in their stuff, false finishes, high spots. You name it, they had it. It was a great, great match. Seeing Chad Gable win in his hometown was cool. And, a lot of people are discounting Chad Gable as a legitimate contender to Gunther.
Listen, Chad Gable can be the one that might take that off of him after he beats Honky Tonk Man's record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't be surprised if that happens. Chad Gable all of a sudden out of nowhere. Yeah, that's a great call. Number 1 for me, I have a 1 and a 1A. Number 1 for me in the wrestling part of it was Shinsuke Nakamura. Who saw that coming? I know I didn't. Shinsuke Nakamura turning on Seth Rollins. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think Shinsuke is way, way underused. He is a phenomenal talent, and I think he should get this rub, and I think he should get this time in the spotlight. Is he going to beat Seth? Probably not, but who cares? The lead up and the build and the match that they have is going to be absolutely tremendous. Seth needed to move on. He needed somebody different. He needed to get away from Judgment Day a little bit. And don't forget, no matter who he goes up against, Damian Priest's shadow is always there, looming with that briefcase. So it doesn't matter who he faces. But I think that's going to be a tremendous program. My 1A is just news that we got about Bray. That's my 1A. I love the dude. I'm a big fan. I love what he does, and I just think that after everything we've read and we've heard about, just really happy that something good came out, and something that's factual came out, and now we can kind of all know whether or not he is able to come back. That's beside the point. But we all know that he's in good spirits. We all know that he's improving, and that is big. like we had mentioned earlier on, for his family and for his kids and for everyone else around him that knows him. So for me, that was my 1A. So let's see what people have here. One is Fatal 4-Way. Ciampa, Nakamura, Gable, and Ricochet. Yes, that's what Jeff has just mentioned. Yeah, that was great. Matt Riddle and Ciampa. LA Knight in the Miz promo. Yeah. Jay leaving. Yeah, was the number 2. Number 1, Nakamura attacking set. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was fantastic. Totally didn't see that coming. Number 1, IC Championship number 1 contender match with Chad wins. My number 1 SummerSlam is most watched all time. Number 1, Io Sky cashing in on Bianca, said James Grant. Number 1, finding an old VHS tape from 1983 full of old wrestling shows. Oh, that's always cool when you do that. I wish I had something to play mine. I don't even have a VHS player anymore, and I don't think you could even find one that's cheap. You look those up now, they're expensive, man.
Man, they're expensive.
They're hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which is insane. Jesse says, my number 2 is Sheamus and Edge. The Sheamus and Edge segment. Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, that was very good too. Yeah, good one. Good one. All right. Well, there you go. That is our top 3 moments of the week. And we are moving on. Running a little bit late, but we're moving on to the lighter side. So, Jesse, you're up. I know C is not thrilled by this at all. but you know, listen, it's just, we don't get them both in here very often. So we got to roll with it, right? We got to roll with it. If C is going to be out there with his, you know, with the heckling, yeah, listen, we got to do. Here we go. It starts already. C says, my worst moment of the week. It's about to happen.
Dang.
Right off the bat. Boom. Boom. Let's go. My number 1 is the Usos and Bloodline segment because it pulled me back into the story. And it was unexpected, said Jesse. All right, Jesse. Well, there you go. You got it. You warm up the band. Here we go. Here we go. If you have been with us the last couple of times we've done this show, normally Jesse comes on and we do this little thing called Callan's Corner. This has been going on since we all met each other way back when. I won't give any credence to how. So that's where this came from. In case you didn't know, we always try to, you know, end the show with a little bit of comedy. So C says, sorry, but missing Jesse's attempts at jokes makes me smile tremendously when you cancel these Sunday shows.
Dang.
Damn. See, that's messed up. No, you don't. You don't have 5 jokes. You are the joke, Jesse. Oh,
jeez.
Wow. Wow. I love it.
Man.
See, this takes me back to when I was a kid watching The Muppet Show, and Statler and Waldorf are up in that balcony, and everything the Muppets did, no matter what they did, how funny it was, they got heckled. So I love this.
You know what? Because I know who Jesse's favorite wrestler is, other than Bray Wyatt, I'm going to play this in support of Jesse. So, Jesse, here you go.
Viva la raza!
There you go.
I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal.
There you go.
Give Jessie a little intro for her jokes. There you go. That'll get you fired up. While Jesse is coming out with the 5 jokes, don't forget to join us. We will follow us on social media if you haven't already. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. As you can see, some people watch us on Twitch. We are on the YouTubes, of course, or you wouldn't be watching this right now. We're also on Facebook. So make sure you join us on social media. That's where you'll get all the updates for us about what's going on. And in particular, tomorrow with Abby's, we will keep you posted and let you know. Jody is still on the mend, so we'll let you know how that goes. Whether or not we're going to be able to do it, I will keep you posted on the socials. So make sure you watch. And we'll let you know as soon as we can whether or not she's going to be well enough to do Abby's tomorrow. Otherwise, on Thursday, and while this graphic is up, please, if you haven't done so already, please like the stream tonight. We really appreciate that. Likes are huge for content creators, just huge. So please make sure you like the stream before you go. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and please hit the notification bell to be notified about when we've got future content. And of course, other than Abby's, we have Impact Wrestling on this coming Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again on Sunday, for Multiverse. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we have all that stuff. All right, here we go. There's number one. What do you call an obnoxious reindeer? Rude Ulf, a.k.a. C Wrestling. Here we go. Here we go. Remember that dude that said, and here we go. Oh, that was a Joker thing.
Joker. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Yes. Yes, that was from Dark Knight Returns. That intro was perfection. Eddie is indeed my all-time favorite. See Wrestling. James Grant saying, see, you still here. Tazzy's like, damn. See it.
Did you see?
Oh,
Buffering.
Wow. Oh man, how can you not love ending your Sunday with them?
This is C Wrestling right now.
Yes. Could be the comments, could be the stream. We don't know. Here we go. Number 2. Geology rocks, but geography is where it's at.
That's a good one.
That's very clever, actually. Yes, that was a very clever joke.
That is.
I don't know how C is going to take to that. Maybe he's still buffering. I don't know. But that was very clever.
I think this is C right now.
Oh my God.
Delete.
Yep.
Delete.
Capital letter for geography. Thanks, Jesse. Wink. Oh my God, this is tremendous. Where else can you go, chat, to get this kind of comedy? Where else can you go? Yeah, where else do you go? It's fantastic. It's fantastic stuff. Oh man, I love it. I love it. While she's coming on to number 3, I watched 2 really good movies yesterday, by the way. John Wick 4. Dude, the kills. I had to look it up. 153 kills in that movie. 153. And the scene, John Wick must have gotten hit by a car about 7 or 8 times during the course of one firefight. How this dude walks away, Jason's got nothing on him. Him and Jason had it out. I think he'd win. But that was and Across the Spider-Verse. Tremendous movie. Probably the one of, if not the best animated movie I've ever seen. Color-wise, look-wise, the story, best Marvel movie of the year. Hands down. Not even close. Tremendous. Really, really, really good. So if you haven't seen either one of those, check them out. Number 3. What do reindeers say before they tell you a joke? This one's going to slay you. C says, what's with the reindeer jokes? It's freaking August or mid-July for Joe. She wants to rush Christmas. Jesse, what are you doing? They're not even showing the Christmas. Well, no, I guess they kind of did already, right? The stupid Christmas in July crap, as if it doesn't come fast enough already.
Just because I've been on the Matt Hardy kick, here we go.
That's what you play for a bad one. Well, I do. Tazzy's like, no. I'm starting to suspect movies might be fake. This is you think? 150 plus kills. That's more. Honestly, Bonus Baby, that I'm used to watching slasher films, right? That is 4 times more than I've ever seen in any one slasher film. That is insane. Insane.
You know what? John Wick 4 is going to inspire some things that happen in Terrifier 3, I fear,
dude,
Art the Clown might be up around 100.
it was insane, man. Oh my god, I thought I'd seen it all. Some of the stuff was. I still relegate to my theory, by the way, that is not really John Wick. That John Wick is actually Neo in a computer program. Ponder that one for a second. Number 4, I put my grandma. I thought you were going to say grandma and a reindeer. I put my grandma on speed dial the other day. I call it Instagram. It's clever. Ever watch movies are real? Ever watch Saw, where the person is tortured? Callan Corner, real life.
Good.
Jeff, now for the next Callan Corner, you're going to need, do you want to play a game?
I know.
You're going to need, oh, by the way, there's a new one coming out.
Yes.
Jeff and I are both very excited for that. It takes place between 1 and 2. Looks awesome. The torture stuff. Oh, I finished Twisted Metal, Tazzy.
Yeah, same. Great show.
That was fantastic, man. I have already picked out I am going as the clown for Halloween to my buddy's Halloween party. So there's a person who 3D prints the machete. And I already have the mask on its way. So yeah, that was tremendous. Tremendous. You haven't seen any John Wick movies? Oh, they're good. They're good for, listen, they're just fun to watch. They're just fun movies to watch. It's ridiculously unrealistic, but they're fun to watch. Yeah. See, you were never showing mercy to Jesse. LOL. She doesn't show mercy to us, James. Oh God.
Yeah, the John Wick movies are a lot of fun. I mean,
they really are.
You have to suspend your disbelief with some of the things that John Wick goes through. It's like, okay, is he somehow related to PCO, to bring it back to wrestling?
Yeah,
because this dude is not human.
That's why I came up with a theory about the fact that he's really Neo. Because if he were in a computer program, he couldn't die. So, I mean, well, they kind of technically did die when they got killed there, so that blows that theory in a way. But if he were running a computer program, he would be able to get through all that. But the stuff that he goes through, I mean, no guy. I saw him in this film fall down a set of stairs that would have broken someone's back 3 times over. He falls down a set of stairs that are like literally 200 stairs and keeps falling and falling and falling and falling the entire way down. And I'm like, you would have died. There's no way you wouldn't have broken your back, and it was a hard fall, and on concrete, he would have been dead. Like there's no, and like I said, getting hit by all those cars, I'm like, all right, he got hit by like 5-6 cars. I'm like, hey, all right, here's number 5. Oh, and we got another winter one here. How is Christmas exactly like your job? You do all the work, and some fat guy in a suit gets all the credit. Wow. That was a good one. That was it. Thank Jesus for that. 5 is done now, and let off. Let us rest and stop Jessie before she finds 300 more attempts at being funny on Google already. Wow.
Jeez. Good grief, man.
See, we were going to answer your prayers when we were going to end the stream. Yes, it is after 11. Jeff's got to get up for work tomorrow. And yes, we're going to end it there. So again, guys, thank you all for coming out and joining us for our Between the Ropes show. We always love doing this. And we hope that you had a good time tonight. We hope that you got some news that you maybe didn't get before. But next Sunday, like I said, we will be right here again, but we will be doing Multiverse. So come and join us for that. And Abby's Window, of course, we will let you know what's happening with that for tomorrow. We will let you know sometime at some point during the day. All right, guys. So from myself and from Jeff, as always, please stay safe out there. Be kind to one another. Jeff mentioned it, and it's something we like to try to live by. And hopefully we will see you all for our next video and the next time we're on. Have a great rest of your night, guys, and we'll talk to you all soon. Good night, everybody.